You also get compared with Yuvraj Singh a little bit every now and then.
Yeah, I mean quite a
On
bit.
field, for your on field or off field way of life, or both.
Both, I think. It's just about two individuals having strong opinions, I think. They're a little exorbitant with the fact that, like, this is how we are. I don't really care about what people would think about me. Being a girl child, going to your father and telling, like, I want to play cricket and I want to go to Bangalore. My dad doesn't, there's no women's cricket. Like, who are you going to play with? Like, you play with boys, but you can't compete anywhere. Until 17, I still remember a lot of good cricketers before that have stopped playing cricket because they were not financially secured.
Right.
So they had
Women cricketers.
Yeah, women cricketers. But if you say, okay, I'm Mithali Raj, and it's like, oh, I've heard this name, right?
Yeah.
There has been a massive change with the number of academies that has opened up for girls.
Correct. By your generation, the one before you, and they worked very hard, right? Mithali and Jhulan and
Mithali and Jhulan having a conversation with the rest of the squad, because when we were preparing for the World Cup, so identifying match winners and
Right.
putting them together,
Right.
giving them roles. These are my players and I'm not going to change. I need them for the World Cup because World Cup is going to be very, very important for women's cricket if it needs to grow. If it is not going to happen now, it will never happen. It will stay or probably go back 20 years. The culture now in the Indian dressing room is different. I think 2018, 2019 for the Indian setup also was pretty much like a school setup, right?
Right.
Like you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this. You were not free to do whatever you want. There's a lot of can'ts in the setup. And I can't come and tell you like, listen, this is what I feel. You have to go by what you're feeling. Like your coaches feels like, oh, you need to do this. You don't have a second opinion about it, right? You just have to like shut up and listen and do things. That is how it was.
तो क्या हुआ जो गिरे, तो क्या हुआ जो थमे, चल उठ जा रे तगड़े जरा, झाड़ के ये कपड़े, दर्द रोके ना हमें, अब सब कमाल है, जिंदगी मेरा तुझसे एक सवाल है, क्या हाल चाल है, क्या हाल चाल है. क्या हाल चाल है, क्या हाल चाल है.
Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Haal Chaal or Sawaal, a show where we talk about fitness stories, mental strength, and moments that make our celebrities who they are. I am Ashish Kaushik, physiotherapist, movement expert, and your host for the show. Our guest for today is known for her power-packed batting and her fierce spirit. Her journey is nothing short of inspiring. From street cricket at 3 to wearing the Indian jersey, please welcome the one and only Veda Krishnamurthy. Nice and easy this time.
Nice.
Thank you. Please take a seat. So Veda, thank you for coming in.
My pleasure. I
First
couldn't
things
say
first.
no to you, so I had
So
to be
sweet.
here.
So sweet of you.
Yeah.
क्या हाल चाल है?
Very good. Just been busy, traveling, figuring out life. So yeah.
Oh, that's
good.
very philosophical.
Yeah, figuring out life.
Okay, good. So cricket, not much. Training,
Not
bits and
not
pieces.
how it was earlier, of course. Still there, doing what is required to be
Yes.
there. But when you're playing only domestic, you don't have to play 12 months a year. So
Yeah.
it just happens for
Yeah.
2-3 months, and you're just occupied for like 4 months, max 5 months.
Yeah.
So the rest of the time, like another 7 months, which is more than 50%
Yes.
of your life now.
Yes.
So obviously I'm into commentary and doing a lot of media stuff, and at the same trying to venture out into a little business here and there, trying to see what is going to suit me. I think this is something which I had from last couple of years. I've been doing comms from 21, so I mean
Oh,
4
really?
years into it.
Ah.
So I kind of wanted a smooth transition
Yes.
from not playing to doing other stuff, rather than like, okay, I stopped and then like, what now?
Yeah.
So I didn't want it to be in that situation. So I was like, slowly I was getting into things so that by the time, like, when I full stop to playing cricket, I still have a lot of things. So I've seen people where they've gone playing full stop, and then the next 6 months they don't know what to do. And by the time they figure out what they need to do, they've lost out on time. Being a cricketer, one thing I've realized and I know is time is very important. So you need to make sure that you don't lose out on time.
And you're not that kind of person also who can sit around, right?
Yeah.
Got way too much energy.
Yeah. I'll be like either someone who's like completely zombied out, like you don't know what you're doing, or I'll be like up and running, like I'll leave home in the morning and do probably 10 to 15 things by the time I go back home. So
Right.
I kind of like to know that I'm in control of life and situations. I don't like uncertainty as a person. So
Right.
that is something maybe has pushed me into venturing out a lot of things quite early. And there are different set of people, isn't it?
Yes,
Some look
of
at
course.
it like saying that, oh, she's not serious about cricket. Some will look at it and like, oh, she's serious about life. So there is two different perception to see in it. You looked shocked.
I know, it's just we've not had such an intense conversation
It's
before.
been a while.
It's generally been about where does it hurt and what shall we do and when can we, how can we get you back quickly.
Yeah.
But I still remember when I saw you first. I think you were still under 19 perhaps, or just come out of under 19, 2009, 10.
Still under 19.
Still under 19,
Still
right?
under 19, yeah.
And you were already, you were already an exceptional athlete.
Yeah.
At the time. And even though at the National Cricket Academy we weren't directly looking after you guys,
Correct, yeah.
we used to still talk about,
Mhm.
when you see an athlete on the field, you can actually see an athlete on the field.
Yeah.
And we used to talk about, all those athletes that we saw on the field, and you were certainly one of them.
Yeah.
So that energy that you always had, you still have that same kind of zest and energy.
Oh, I think pretty much
everything that I
the
do.
same. I think even now you will still see me in the same way, chirping around, running around, even though it is just a club game. You'll still see me diving around and things like that. It's not like I put my hands in the pocket and stand as like club match hi to hai, kya farak padta hai and all of
Right.
that. I still have the same enthusiasm going into it. And I think the karate background that I had, like
Yeah,
the 4
interesting.
years of karate that I've done.
So when was
before-
that? Which age group was that?
So it was from 8 to 12.
Okay.
And 12 is when I moved to Bangalore for cricket. So
Right.
that 4 years I kind of feel has given so much base and strength to my body.
Right.
Like, of course, the last couple of years it's not like I've gone like Ironman training kind of stuff, which you normally do when you're playing for India and stuff. You're doing certain things what is only required. You're looking after, okay, you need to make sure that your muscles are ready and all of that. But even with that, I kind of feel that I was fortunate that I did that, because it's given me so much base. I've not literally had any breakdowns or tears or
Yeah.
anything as such over the year, if you've seen. So
fantastic.
that is something which I think very, very lucky that I had that base. I still now, like if I've not gone to gym for 6 months, it's fine. I can still go and lift heavy from day one itself. Obviously, I'll be sore the next day.
Yes.
But that's natural. But I'm not going to injure
For
myself.
which we are there.
Yeah. So I'm not going to injure myself. That is something. I got brave. Of course, I was fighting with boys back then. So, and literally like punches on the face and those kind of stuff, like proper.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think that has given me a thing where even when I was 12, when I came to Bangalore, the practice games and all, we never had grass grounds. It was like mud grounds. You're playing on mat, like the club games and practice games. And I'm falling around on the stuff, and I was absolutely fine.
So we talk about actually the long-term athlete development are the most recommended programs to raise an athlete.
Yeah.
Does talk about multiple sport at that.
Yeah,
so I think you've got an ideal kind of situation. You got yourself into an ideal position there by having at least one or two more sport before you took cricket up seriously.
Yeah, I mean, it was just not one or two sports. I used to play everything. So I come from Kadur, which is a small town in Chikmagalur district, and probably like you would say a taluk level kind of a place. So very small. So you're competing a lot of things. Schools there, you have all the sports and limited people, right? It's not like here in Bangalore where you have like 10 different sections with hundreds of people studying from same school. So you kind of filter out things for
Correct.
people. Like
Correct.
you're not pushing everybody into everything.
Correct.
There you're about 25-30 in a class.
Everybody
Everybody has to do everything, like from participating in a fancy dress competition to annual dance performance to playing volleyball to playing kabaddi to playing throwball. And you are the same people who are doing 100 meters, 200 meters and 400 meters, because if it is 30 people, that's about 15 girls. So you're competing in everything. So that was something which made sure that I was doing from the time I was 3. I've been doing stage shows, like I've been dancing, I've been doing things, I've been doing fancy dress, I've been sketching, I've been doing into art and craft, singing, classical dancing is one thing that I didn't do, but I've done everything.
Really? That's
Like
so amazing,
everything.
right?
Like
That's
2
the
days
best.
of sports day, from morning 9 o'clock till 5 o'clock, 2 days you're participating in everything. So it's just fun, I think. And then it just gave me a lot of things. Like I was playing volleyball, so it helped me with vertical jumps.
Yes, your plyos. Yeah.
I remember that I was pretty good at it
Yeah,
when
yeah,
it comes
yeah.
to the vertical jumps. I represented state in high jump. I represented state in volleyball. I won a state level championship in karate. So throw ball is something which is just another extension of a volleyball.
Right.
And you're doing long jump. So I think it was just like, my body had gotten used to so many movements. When it came to cricket and I had to zero down and only focus on cricket, I think I was able to do much better.
Yes.
In a lot of situations. I think that is how fielding came very, very naturally to me. Yeah.
That's how you, I think, do you also get compared with Yuvraj Singh a little bit every now and then?
Yeah, I mean, quite a
On
bit.
field?
Yeah,
On field?
quite a bit. Yeah.
On for your on field or off field way of life, or both?
Both, I think, maybe. Yeah, it's just about two individuals having strong opinions, I think. And I'm not taking away from people, but I think a lot of people realize very early, young in their age, that how you need to conduct in front of people to be put in a situation where you're not judged. I think Yuvi and I were a little exorbitant with the fact that, like, this is how we are. I don't really care about what people would think about me. It has backfired quite a few times for him and me, but it's okay. I think that's how life is.
I think it's fantastic. I mean, personally, I think as someone who's been so closely associated with sport,
Yeah,
it's always nice to see flamboyance,
yeah,
because your most stylish athletes, your most out of the box thinkers,
Yeah.
and your athletes in across sport with an X factor
yeah,
often come from those kind of personalities.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm pleased that you decided to preserve that side of yourself. I think it's very nice.
I am. I'm happy. I mean, on the day I finish probably playing cricket, I would not go back to thinking like, oh, I should have done this to be in a different position. Nobody knows what would have happened. Like, right? It is all gone. I can't go back and rewrite things. So that also puts me in a perception where I'm like, I do not have any regrets. Like, if people come to me and say like, had you done this, things would have been different. Had you done that, things would have been different. I said, yeah, that's what you think, but I felt what I did at that time, what I was capable of doing.
Yes.
If there was anything beyond that I could have done, I probably would have done it then, rather than sitting now and breaking my head over it. So I don't have any regrets when it comes to that.
So apart from cricket, which is the other sport that you came close to thinking, I could also pursue this sport to a
Honestly
professional level?
speaking, no. Honestly speaking, nothing.
Yeah,
I never thought that I could perceive anything else other than cricket. Yes, initial periods when, of course, coming from Kadur to Bangalore is not an easy thing. Way back in 2005, that's like 20 years from now. For being a girl child, going to your father and telling like, I want to play cricket and I want to go to Bangalore.
So was that your
Yes,
suggestion?
it was my this thing. So
you knew at that age?
Yeah, at 12, I still remember. So you have these houses in colonies, right?
Yeah.
There's about 5-6 houses and then there'll be one center road, and then there'll be 5-6 road otherwise.
Yeah.
And there'll be layouts and rows of
Yeah.
houses like that. And my house was something similar. And the 5-6 other house, apart from me, every house had a boy
Okay.
of my age.
Right.
We were all either classmates or same age but in different schools.
Right.
So everybody were friends with everyone. The entire town was like all men friends with my father, all women friends with my mother, their child friends with me. My brothers are like, friends with their brothers. My sisters are friends with their sisters. So
Yeah,
it is full community,
like
right?
one big community,
one big community. You
close
go,
knit.
you go anywhere, everybody knows everyone.
Right.
So we were playing a lot of sport together, of course, with boys. Like I used to play everything. Like played with the tires. I've played with a lot of other things like street sport as such. And cricket was something which we used to play together. And there was a government, now there is still a government college next to that house. We don't live there anymore, but that ground was something like a hub for people to come and play cricket. So if you imagine a big ground where there is some 20 different groups playing cricket. So every age group
Like Shivaji Park.
every age group had their own set of people. So my group was these boys.
Right.
And there was an auditorium which they were building for the college, and they had put that basement of cement structure, like
Right.
the first layout of
Yeah.
stage kind of a thing. One of the boys' aunt had come from Bangalore or something, so she happened to get a cricket gloves,
Okay.
batting gloves, and a leather ball
Okay.
as a gift to him. So he came out and was like, "Oh, I got a ball, let's play," and things like that. And just with the gloves, everybody is wearing the same gloves, some random bat, and you're playing cricket. So the feel of the bat and the ball, the noise, is something which fascinated me very much.
Really?
And I remember going to my father and telling, I want to play cricket. And my dad was like, but yeah, like there's no women's cricket. Like, who are you going to play with? Like, you play with boys, but you can't compete anywhere.
Yeah.
Because in his head, the idea of putting me into karate was he wanted me to pursue taekwondo, where you will go represent India
Right.
in thing.
Right.
And then he thought it will probably give me that base to become an IPS officer.
Oh,
Like you're
okay.
physically strong, and you will have that
Yeah,
in
yeah,
you,
yeah.
so you need to start from now. So that was his mindset.
Right.
And he was always against a team sport. He felt that individual sport, he knew that I'll be doing something in sport. So for him it was individual sport which fascinated him a lot more than team sport. So he was like, oh, but cricket is a team sport, you can't achieve anything there alone, you need to have your team to do it. But I was like, no, I want to play cricket. This is where I feel that I'm falling in love with the sport. And honestly speaking, I did not know that women's existed. There was Indian team playing and all of that stuff. And that was a year where the Indian team played the finals for the first time in South Africa, where they
Right.
played Australia, I think, in
Yes.
finals. And there was a big picture of Mithali Raj and a couple of them, which was put on the newspaper. And I showed it to him and saying, you asked me women play cricket, like, here, they just played the finals. And he's like, okay, fine. If you have to go into an academy, you need to find an academy which has men's and women's together. So I remember I used to look at newspaper every day, small ads that come up, and it says, okay, certain cricket academy for boys under 12 years. Or for boys over 12 years. So there was every day I was like looking at, and in that period my dad was like, Sania Mirza was on a high at that point. He's like, oh, why don't you play tennis?
Tennis. Right.
Why don't you become Sania Mirza? It's an individual sport, like
Yeah.
everything is going to be in your hand.
Yeah.
I said, no, I do not like tennis. I didn't even know what tennis is. Like, I've never felt a racket or how it feels. So then he was like, fine, then why not tennis? He tried to pursue. I was like, no, not happening. And then one day I remember there's Karnataka Institute of Cricket which said boys and girls. So I took the newspaper to him again. I said,
Right.
you told me to find an academy where they teach girls, and here it is. He's like, oh, it might be some printing mistake or something like that. I said, there's a number, why don't you call up and things like that. So my mom's brother lived here in Bangalore. So
Okay.
he's still a doctor. So he called him because apparently his sons were playing cricket with Robin and all of them.
Right.
So that
Right.
generation players. So he called up and he's like, yeah, this is there and all of that stuff. Then I was like, okay, I want to go. My dad thought it is just a thing that you say and leave it. Like, who is going to take it seriously, right? He never expected. But I have always been a stubborn child.
Stubborn person, you
Stubborn
mean?
person I've become over time. Stubborn child because I'm the last one at home. So I was the fourth child. The gap between my sister and me were about 10 years. So I was extremely pampered.
Yes.
Not just by my parents, my siblings, all of them. So I was like favorite for everyone. And dad never said a no to me. And I grew up in a way like, I want this, I want this. And my dad used to get me. So you can tell that I've become stubborn because of him. Had he said no, probably from the young age, I wouldn't have been more stubborn than I am today. But then I was like, I want to go. And he's like, he looked at my mom, and my mom was like, you've told her. Now you cannot say a no because she's not going to listen to you. And this is you who've brought her up like this. So why don't we just take her to Bangalore? So the next day we came to Bangalore. He took me. We went inside KIOC. There was a bunch of girls practicing. So he's like, okay, fine, go join. And because of karate again, I wasn't scared. For the first time, I'm playing with professional cricketers, but I was like very brave in batting with them or bowling to them. Catches, I was falling around. And later I got to know, like, he did not tell me then, like few years later when my dad told, the whole idea was for him was to get me to Bangalore, spend a day and take me back. Then I was like, okay, she'll be satisfied, so I don't have to like do it
You've
again.
seen it now.
Yeah, you've seen it now. So as soon as we entered into Irfan sir's office, he's like, he looked at my father and was like, your daughter has the potential to play for India.
Really?
I am not sending her back. So my father's like,
after just seeing you once.
Yeah, one session. So I'm not sending you back. My father's like, yeah, but she's only 12. She's never stayed away from family. One is that. Two is, though my uncle lived in Bangalore, they were pretty far because he was posted in Kolar. So, the commuting will be a problem again. And Irfan was like, oh, we have hostels and PJs. My dad was not convinced. Like, I'm not putting her in a hostel or a PJ. That's not going to happen. Then he was like, a coach's house. He's like, no, not happening. And then randomly, he's like, okay, fine, give me 5 minutes. And then he sent a word to call one of the girls. Her name is Purti, and she was 13 then, I was 12. So before I tell you the story, she walks in. She's like, yeah, sir, tell me what happened. She's like, your sister, she's going to stay in your house.
Just like that.
Just like that. And she didn't flinch for even a second. She's like, yeah, no problem, I'll take care of her.
Whoa.
And my parents were like,
who is this
who is this? Like, I mean, I have only seen her like playing and not like I knew the name or something like that. And the way the confidence she had while telling, I said, okay, fine. I was like, I'm staying with her. And my parents are like zapped. I was like, what is wrong with these kids? And then my father was like, how old are you? She's like, 13, uncle. I was like, how can you decide you're 13? Like, you have parents, right? It's like, yeah, I have parents. Like, where do you stay? It's like, I stay in Sheshadripuram and things like that. It's like, okay, fine. Then she's like, why don't you come home, uncle? You can see the home. Anyways, you have to drop her as well, right? You can just drop her. You can see the home and then you can, decide whatever. So we went home. There was a house help who was taking care of everything at home, cooking and all of that. So she's like, where are your parents? After this, like, they're not at home. They were in Sringeri. Apparently, her mom's from Sringeri. So they were there. She's like, they're in Sringeri. It's closer only, no, uncle, for your place and all. Like, same and all of that. My dad is like, how can a 13-year-old and a 12-year-old decide life? She's like, okay, let me call my father. She called up. She's like, and even now she's the same. Like, too much straightforward. She called up and she's like, Pa, I have one girl who came for cricket today. Irfan sir told she's my sister. I have to take care of her. So I got her home. So she's gonna stay with us. Her dad's also zapped. My dad is zapped. Nobody knows what is happening. Then she's like, here, her father's sitting here, talk to her. And he was like, he didn't know what to do. He was like, okay, fine. I was like, don't worry, sir. I'll take care of her as my daughter only. You can leave her and
That's
go.
such an amazing story. Yeah?
It's so mind-boggling, because you cannot imagine
Yeah.
in 2005 a stranger walks into your
Yeah.
house and they're like, okay, fine, you're family now, within like 2 minutes of knowing you. And her parents didn't even know me. They've not even seen me, not seen my parents,
That's
to
destiny,
even
right?
gauge anything, right?
Yes.
So at least you'll say, okay, vibes is like,
Correct,
you see and
correct,
you'll know.
correct.
They're not seen. And then my dad is like, no, I'm not going to leave you and all of that. And that time the buses and trains were very limited from Bangalore to Kadur. So you miss that, you're gone. You have to like probably stay overnight and go back again the next morning. So my mom looked at her watch. She's like, we have half an hour. If we do not catch that bus from Sheshadripuram, of course, Majestic is not that far. So like, if we do not catch that bus, we are not going. So are you coming with me or not? My father was like, how can you leave your daughter? Like, what kind of mother you are and all that. I was like, I know that she decides things and she does. She's not going to listen to you nor me. She is very independent when it comes to deciding, and she's deciding she's staying here, so just leave. And my brother was in Bangalore at that time. He's just moved. So he was staying with friends, like, the bachelor rooms, apparently. So obviously I can't go and stay with them also,
Yeah.
right? So he's like, your son is anyways here only. We'll send him in the morning, let him go and check on her. And me and my brother have 14 years of gap.
Right.
So let him come and check in the morning tomorrow. Let's leave, because she's not going to come. So there's no point in going back and forth. So they left, and the parents were supposed to come probably 2 days after, but they came back immediately next early morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. Spurti's dad calls up my dad, and my father was like surprised. He's like, what happened this early in the morning? He's like, sir, what apparently happened was he came to the room, he saw me sleeping, he went out and he called my dad and said, forget that she's your daughter, she's my daughter from now onwards. And I stayed with them for over a month during that summer. And then my father, of course, rented a place. My brother and my elder sister moved here with me. So it's funny. Like, I keep telling Spurti even now, like, if you had not said yes, I don't know what would have happened. I probably would have gone back, and to convince my father to get me back again, I would have lost out on time. So she's like, I don't know why I said yes. I just felt like saying, and I said it. But it's how it started.
Things that are meant to happen, they're meant to
I've been
happen. Let's
fortunate,
figure
I
out a
think.
way, right?
Find right people at the right times.
Yeah.
This is what
Yeah.
it is, I think.
Yeah. That's a beautiful story.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful story. A lot of women athletes across the world have actually mentioned at various points. Carolina Marin is one of them.
Yeah.
And they've said that it's because there was no gender discrepancy in the society, in the community.
Yeah.
Is why they got to where they got to.
Yeah.
Because they were competing with the boys
Yeah.
their age. Younger boys were competing with older boys and girls, and so and everybody, athletes across genders, across age groups have a different mindset.
Correct.
So it just helped them hone their skills and compete in a manner that they could keep excelling at the sport. And I think your story also kind of proves that point,
yeah,
right?
Same thing, because with the boys, like, we were 5 of us in total, me and 4 boys, that we were a group, like a gang that you call, right? And it was always 2 and 2, and one would be a joker.
Yes.
And I would never be the joker, because the boys would fight to have me in the team.
In the team,
So
right.
that is how it was. They never made me feel different. They always were very competitive with me.
Right.
And that just kind of pushed me into being more competitive, and I never felt like, oh, being a girl, this is something that I'm doing wrong. And on the streets, like I said, in the tires and all whatnot that I'm playing, none of the mothers also felt weird about it, nor my mother felt weird about it. Nobody went and told, like, why are you sending your daughter in the sun, she'll become dark, and that concept that you have.
Yeah.
No, that it was not there. I don't know, it was, maybe I always say, like, I was the 4th child, so that my dad and mom have done their trial and errors in the first 3 and they've left the 4th one loose, like, go figure out your life, kind of a thing.
But don't you think that's the best way to raise a child?
I think absolutely, because we kind of underestimate children a bit more. I feel saying that, oh, you're just a child, you don't know.
You're a child, you're a girl,
Yeah,
you're this,
yeah.
you're
I
that,
think
putting them into
children
stereotypes.
know what they're good at,
Right.
because they're seeing 10 other people doing different things.
Yeah.
So I think they have that gauging power to know whether I'm better in this or not, and they kind of choose what is best for them. Nobody will go and choose what is not good for them, what they don't like.
You just need to support them.
Yeah, you just need to give that cushion, saying that, yeah, go explore, so what, eventually what will happen? You'll fail, right?
Yeah, but you're there.
You might fail doing something you don't like.
Of course.
The chances are a lot more in that than failing in what you like. So that is a concept. I think now people, like the parents in this generation, is of course our generation back then, who were deprived of a lot of things.
Yes.
And those people have become parents now, and they were like, jao jio apni zindagi types.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you've had also you've been because you're socially so good with people. I think you've also been given nicknames here and there.
Yeah, been
here,
called.
there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
So what all are your favorite nicknames?
Oh, there's some weird ones. There's some good ones.
Okay. Let's start with the weird ones.
Weird one, of course, in reference to Kannada, is when I came here. Of course, I was 12, so I was not even. I was 4.5 feet or something, and you're growing, right? And in a year's time, I was like 5'2", 5'3", like just shot up, and they started calling me Danu. In reference, for them was a buffalo, but Dana is cow.
Right.
So they started calling me Danu, all of them.
Right.
Like, suddenly you were so small and like kutti, and suddenly you've gone past and you've become taller than the others, right? So that is something that did start off. Some of them still call me that
Really?
That group. One stays in UK, US, and the ones here in Bangalore. Even now, even in text also, the reference is that only the start of conversation, like, Danu, where are you? What are you doing? And all those stuff. So yeah, that is something which is there. I was called Darth when I was playing Big Bash.
Right.
Because Darth Veda, that synonym. Right. So that was the name given there. So they used to call me Darthi. That was there. There was a little bit of dawn in between the Indian dressing room, because I used to just bully people left, right, and center. And it was not just me; it was Harman and me.
Okay.
But yeah, I was the front runner for all the things. So yeah, I don't know what you have.
No, yeah. I mean, those are the ones that that we have, because those are the ones that are there.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a story about you. You know, Kamlesh Nagarkoti, that fast bowler.
Yeah.
So when you guys were playing your finals, I think it was a bit of a tough situation where wickets were falling.
Yeah.
And these under-19 kids, they were watching that game. So their batch was under-19 at the time.
Yeah.
And someone said, no, don't worry. Veda Krishnamurthy is about to. She's there.
Yeah.
Everybody was kind of saying, oh, she's. They said, oh, 3 of them are there. Veda Krishnamurthy. So that's the kind of awareness up until that point.
Correct. Yeah.
That there was about, and then suddenly after that.
Yeah.
I think, and we were just talking about it.
Yeah.
How that year was actually such an important year for women's cricket, that all of you got known better, your contribution. The women cricket just pretty much changed to a large extent from there, right?
Massive growth, I would say, because up until then, people were playing cricket.
And this was 2017.
17, yeah. Until 17, I still remember a lot of good cricketers before that have stopped playing cricket because they were not financially secured.
Right.
So they had
women cricketers.
Yeah, women cricketers. So they had to either take up a job. They're getting into MNC, and they have to go and study engineering or whatever it is. Like the ones who are good at studying would pursue engineering so that they have a better job. So they had to quit playing because you can't do both, right? And with MNC, nobody is giving you 6 months off out of 12 months. So that aspect as well. So a lot of people kind of, it was just drying out, because the minute you're 17, 18, that is until you're playing. After that, you're like, oh, you need to figure out life. You can't be playing cricket just for passion and fun. But post that, a lot of them have started taking up cricket as a career, and they were able to do it because there was financial growth along with recognition. I think earlier to that, people knew Jhulan and Mithali by name.
Yes.
I don't think so. 90% would recognize them facially. If they're walking past, nobody would know. But if you say, okay, I'm Mithali Raj, and it's like, oh, I've heard this
Yeah,
name,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
To that, to people facially recognizing you by looking at you, it's like, oh, you're this and this. So there has been a massive change with the number of academies that has opened up.
Yes.
I wouldn't say opened up. Academies were there. They opened up doors for
They're getting more
girls.
subscribed
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
Correct.
Opened up for girls.
Correct.
So earlier in Bangalore, you only had KIOC, and
Right.
he's been like pioneer since I don't know when,
Right.
from the time he started. So he always had women's cricket in the
Right.
academy.
Right.
But now I think every area, every academy has cricket for boys and girls. You will see little girls playing cricket.
Yeah.
So that itself, I think it's a big win to be able to go into cricket academy when you're 6-7 years old, thinking that you're going to represent India, and you don't have to break your head about doing anything else to be financially secure. And for parents also to have that confidence, like, oh, if she makes it big, she's going to be in a good position. Like, she doesn't have to like work or do anything else.
So would you say then, to a large extent, the barriers have been broken, and that the path has been laid by your generation, the one before you, and they worked very hard, right? Mithali and
Yeah,
Jhulan,
yeah.
and before that Anjum and her group, they worked very hard.
Yeah.
But I think you guys were, were the ones where things actually started showing. The
I
change
think,
started showing.
yeah, like the walls, like you said, it was being broken very systematically. Like, you're doing things, you're breaking, you're doing things, you're breaking. And we knew for the fact to ram through that walls, we needed something significant in an ICC tournament. I remember Mithali and Jhulan having a conversation with the rest of the squad, because when we were preparing for the World Cup, and it was a longer preparation, like we were preparing for the 17 World Cup from 15 itself.
Yes.
And if you see in that 2 years, the 50 over squad especially, you will not see many changes that was made. So they identified the core group of players who are going to be there, the vision that they had, Mithali and the selectors, because the selectors also were similar selectors, probably one or two changed over the course in 2 years. The vision was laid in 2015 itself, saying that these are your match winners. So identifying match winners and putting them together, giving them roles, was something I think needs to be appreciated, because it's less talked about more often to see. Because to not make those changes and stand to your ground and say like, no, even though there are a couple of series here and there where players have lost form, that also I got to know recently, because you will not know at that time. Recently is where you figure out like what exactly has happened, because you speak more about it. Is where I figured out like Mithali had put her foot down, saying that these are my players and I'm not going to change. Despite of them not having a good series here and there, it's like, no, I need them for the World Cup, because World Cup is going to be very, very important for women's cricket if it needs to grow. If it is not going to happen now, it will never happen. It'll stay or probably go back 20 years. And then, that is where you see the growth of Smriti coming in, myself, Ashika Pandey, Sushma Verma, Harman, all of them. The growth you see from 15 to 17, we were ready for the 17 World Cup. Because we were assured and we were secured with our position. We knew that we are going to be there regardless of what it is. And before the World Cup squad was announced also, I think 6 months before itself, the players who are playing World Cup knew that they're playing. Even the team, before the team was announced. So you're mentally preparing your journey in that way. Because you're not breaking and spending energy on like whether I'll be there or not there. Those kind of doubts were not created in the head. And having a conversation just before we left, it started off with a press conference which was supposed to have with the captain and the coach before leaving. And we were all in BKC at that time, and we were training, so it was about the same time. And she finished and she came out, and she's like, there were only like a couple of them who had come for the press meet from the journalist side of it. And she was pretty disappointed. She's like, there's only two people who've come to send us off. We're going to play a World Cup. We need to change that. I think we need to do something really special in the World Cup, and semi-finals will be the first hurdle that we need to get to. And because in 50 overs, like the last couple of World Cups, they're not great. Semi-final is something which we have to aim at least, so that at least we can start asking for
Yes.
some respect, right?
Yes.
So we were all hell bent upon it. It's like make it or break it. This World Cup, we have to make sure that we do well. And with the first game itself playing against England, even the broadcasting was not for every game. It was only for England because it was a home team and the first game. Second game was, of course, West Indies, so that game was not live. Then Pakistan was live because it is India-Pakistan. South Africa was not live after that. So it was like that, and it got to a point after 2-3 games, because the viewership was good. People are asking, demanding they had to show the entire World Cup live. Yeah. Earlier, it was not there.
Correct.
So I kind of felt like, because with 15 of us plus the support staff, whoever was there, like about 20 to 23 people together walking through that path, we were able to ram through that door. Otherwise, if you see, earlier it was individual players like trying to push and then break it down. Because together we went as a force. That is how we could break it down and put women's cricket in the map of cricket in India, which I think is quite special.
No, it is special indeed. I remember also having conversations. Unfortunately, both Jhulan and Mithali broke down at few years before that at the same time, and both of them were there rehabbing at the NCA.
Yeah.
And we were having these conversations, and they were so frustrated about this egg and chicken situation.
Correct, yeah.
Where they said, how do you break that cycle?
Yeah.
Where you want more,
Yeah.
you want more help, but for that you need to prove yourself.
Yeah.
But to prove yourself, you need more help.
Yeah. Yeah.
So right, and these are the conversations that were happening for years before that.
Yeah.
And then I think, good for them to have taken it on, and
Correct,
good for
yeah.
you all to have rallied around and stuck together as a unit to finally actually deliver the outcomes, deliver the results. And then from there's been no stopping.
Yeah.
Like now, last year, I remember someone reached out to me and said, you want to be a part of Women's Premier League?
I know. I saw you on TV. I didn't know that you because we haven't spoken for a while. I was like, oh, nice.
Yeah. So and I was honestly, initially I thought Women's Premier League. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And then, but the kind of people that are getting into the number of coaches and physios and SNCs that I met.
Yeah.
Everybody's now it really now is equally prestigious.
Yeah.
So I was a part of IPL this year. I was a part of Women's Premier League this year, and the standards
Which
are
was
fantastic.
Better?
Women's Premier League.
Good answer.
Right answer.
Yeah.
So no, it was good fun. It was really good fun. It's good to see that athleticity, and good to see now the youngsters also then getting an opportunity to now mingle with the international players. Exactly what happened with men's cricket,
correct,
right?
Yeah.
2008 and 8-9 when IPL started. Exactly the same thing was happening then.
Yeah.
When the younger domestic players were getting an opportunity to rub shoulders with the international players. Now the same thing's happening here.
Yeah.
So that's only going to make everything better from there. So no, fantastic. So now with cricket, you got in there, you made it, and then debuted at age 18 with a 50.
Yeah.
How was that?
When I got picked for the Indian team, of course, at that time it was not covered that much. You wouldn't know unless someone calls up and tells you, right, that you're in the team.
Yeah.
And I so happened, I think this was June, the tournament where we were going to England for a quadrangular, and there was a series in February.
Okay.
February where they played West Indies. So I had a good domestic season. So domestic ends by Jan, and the first tournament was against West Indies. So I kind of felt like probably I would make it to the team then, because like, I've got hundreds in the domestic and things like that, and it didn't happen. So I was pretty disappointed, and honestly, for an Indian batter, you are not thinking of debuting in England.
Yes.
You're
That's
not.
the last
That's the
place you
yeah,
want to
yeah,
be
yeah.
debuting.
Yeah, so there was England, and I think there was a home series afterwards. I
Right.
think England for sure they'll not take me because they'll like, oh, England batter movement. They probably have someone who's experienced enough to play
Yeah.
there, right? So I was not expecting. And randomly on Facebook, I got a message from someone saying, "Congratulations." I was like, why? I didn't even know team is going to be announced now. Like, there was no idea about anything. She's like, oh, you got selected to the Indian team. I said, what are you joking about? Where is it out? It's not out anywhere. And then she sent me a random link, which was, I think, published by some newspaper or something.
Okay.
This is a squad which has been selected to travel England. I saw and my name was there in the end, the last name. I was like, what? I got picked, like
Wow.
really. And then I remember calling my father and saying I got selected for India and all of that, and he was over the moon. The preparation started probably a month earlier.
Right.
To that, we were playing a lot of the camps was in Bangalore that time. You know that we used to be in NCA a lot more practicing and things like that. And Jhulan was the captain that time. Jhulan walked up to me and she's like, "You're going to bat at number 5." Both T20 and 50 overs. So prepare yourself in that way, and that is where we are looking at. Before we played the 50 overs, we played T20. So T20 happened first. So I kind of got a gist of what international cricket is and things like that. When we played England, the first game, we were in a situation where we had lost 3 wickets early. It was Poonam and I who had a partnership, I think. I went in and it just felt like everything is happening in a flow and you're feeling nice about things. Um, I think there's a lot of feelings, isn't it? Bat and ball connection and all of that.
It is though.
I think
It is, and that's why it's as much art as it is
correct,
science.
yeah. So the feel was good and just went with the flow. And of course, the credits there, of course, is to Jhulan being a captain and walking in 1.5 months before itself and saying we're looking at number 5. You will be our new number 5. So that was the confidence that she gave going into that tournament. It felt smooth and nice. It didn't feel any difficult. And then you start feeling like, oh, international cricket is easy. And then life hits you with another bouncer and then you're going through the cycle again. But yeah, I think I've just learned life as and when the day has passed by.
With the ups and downs.
Yeah. But beautiful memory to have. I think not many from India have a 50 in debut playing at number 5.
No.
I think they're all openers.
Yeah.
And number 3, like the top orders, but not many with going 5 or below. So, and against England at that time, so I mean, take that.
Anybody, absolutely. Anybody, any age group,
Yeah.
men, women, anything, going to England, playing in England on your debut match and scoring a 50 is a fantastic achievement.
Yeah, I think Derby otherwise has been very good to me throughout my career. I've had some really good knocks in that stadium, in that ground. Because even the World Cup knock came in that ground.
Yeah, that's 70.
Yeah, so it's been special.
Yes.
Maybe I need to go and settle
Maybe you need to spend a little bit more time in England doing the county circuit.
Yeah.
So you were also one of the few women to play the Big Bash League.
Mm-hmm.
So how is that different from the WPL that we have here?
Oh, very different.
Yeah.
When I played, it was 2018. So up until that, the culture now in the Indian dressing room is different.
Right.
Like there's a lot more opinions. You can express a lot of things. Up until I think 2018, 2019, for the Indian setup also was pretty much like a school setup, right?
Right.
Like you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this. You were not free to do whatever you want.
Right.
Or you have to come back by this time. You can't go here. You can't do that. So there's a lot of can'ts in the setup. So when I went to Hobart, you see opinions coming in left, right, and center from everywhere. So it's a bit of a culture shock, right?
Right.
Here in India, you're not allowed to talk. Say you're the coach, and I can't come and tell you like, listen, this is what I feel. You have to go by what you're feeling. Like coaches feels like, oh, you need to do this. You don't have a second opinion about it, right? You just have to like shut up and listen and do things. That is how it was. We were having a first team meeting, and there were we were 17, 18, and then we had some 3, 4 extra players who are coming in from different club setups just to understand, how things go.
Right.
So there's some random person who comes in. I've not even seen her in the couple of days practice session. She comes and she's like, you know what, this is what I feel, this is what needs to be done. I just looked at her. I was like, who is she? Like, who is she coming and telling us what we need to do tomorrow
Right.
in the game? And the coaches were like, yeah, I think I agree, like pretty much, yeah, and all that. And they were like so accepting about it.
Yeah.
I was like, if someone comes and tells here, like, look, this is what you need to do, they were like, who are you to tell? Like, what have you played? And all of that stuff comes in, right?
Correct.
And that was the first culture shock that I had. You could openly speak to your coach. There is nothing that you cannot talk. It is always better to speak it out than assuming things. That is something I learned there. And as social I am, the first month was very difficult for me to figure out life there, because I was by myself. You're alone, you don't know. Everything happens with information. You can't just randomly go and tell, okay, let's go for a coffee. It's not going to happen. That you need to tell a day before. Like,
Yes.
are you
Yes.
you need to ask, like,
Yes.
are you available at
Yeah.
4 p.m. tomorrow? And if they say yeah, then okay, are you up for a coffee? Then they're like, yeah, sure, no problem. And that's when you go. You can't just randomly go and
Okay,
say,
chalo, let's go.
and here it is like, chalna kya hai, all of that. So you can't do that,
Yeah.
right? So it took me a while. Though Haley was there, like, Haley and I were the internationals, and there was Lauren Winfield, but she was staying with a friend in a
Right.
different place. So it was me and Haley in that studio apartments, and then Jofra was there.
Right.
So that's when I met Jofra as well. So Jofra is on another level. So Jofra, Haley, both from Barbados.
Right.
Me stuck in between two Barbados people, figuring out life. And with her, it was a lot more easy. Like, I could just walk into her room anytime and it's
Yeah.
like, move,
Yes.
let's go. So there's like, there is no appointment things like that. I
Yes,
think a
yes.
little bit of West Indies there,
Chilled
flair
out.
kind of helped. And she's like, okay, all right, no problem. I think Joff is also not doing anything. Let's take him also. And we call up like, Joff, what are you doing? I'm just sleeping and all that. I think, okay, we're going. So drag everyone out from the room and pull them and go and stuff. And that's how I started enjoying a little bit more. It took
Right.
me a good month. The
Right.
next month was a lot easier. It just went on with the flow.
Right.
That is when I learned also.
How long is that tournament?
2 months.
2 months. Okay.
So that is when I learned that you actually can talk things and get your work done. It is a lot easier than keeping your mouth shut and expecting miracles. So with that, what happened was, when I came back, then we had Tushar was the coach, then Ramesh Pawar came in, and then WV came in 2019.
Correct.
So the culture in the team also started changing a little bit more.
Right.
And with WV, it was a lot more comfortable. And I mean, you know how WV is, quite chilled out, laid back person. You
Yeah.
go to him and he's like, so I don't think so. This is what I
Yeah.
need to be doing.
He also appreciates
He
actually
likes it, right?
open,
Yeah, because
conversations and
like, you've been in NCF for so
Yeah, yeah.
long. We had a camp. 30 people were in the camp. We were doing a fitness and a batting camp. There's about 15 people, like batters, where the sessions were happening together. So 3 nets. There's 3 people who are batting together, and then 3 people batting together. So he comes up first day. He said, 3 people who are batting, 3 people who are after. Rest everybody, please leave. You know how crowded it gets
Yeah.
with some 15 people
Yeah,
standing
just-
inside.
yeah, standing.
But earlier to that, it was like all 15 needs to stand there and watch. Whether you're batting after 2 hours or batting after 1 hour. Nobody really cared. You had to be there, present. So you're there standing watching, when will it get over? When will this get over? He is like, I've given time slots. Every 3 batters have half an hour. He is like, whenever you're batting, whether it is after 1 hour, after 2 hours, after 3 hours,
just be there for your time.
just be there before 5 minutes, ready,
Yeah.
padded up and ready to walk in. They finish, you're walking in inside. And I was like, wow. I said, what should we do? You want to sleep? You want to talk on the phone? You want to play? Don't play TT because you get noisy. Don't be in this vicinity. I don't want to see anyone. You want to eat. You want to go wherever you want to go. Just be there on time. I was like, wow, this is nice.
This feels better.
This is something nice. It feels like home to me.
Yeah.
And that is when a little bit things got changed. And he came up, I think after 2 weeks into camp, 3 weeks into camp, he called up and was like, you're from Bangalore, right? I said, yeah. why don't you go and talk to the hotel people and set up a party for you guys tonight? I said, party? He's like, yeah, go speak with him. Speak to the manager. Tell you need the DJ and a place for you to have dinner and chill out. I was like, yeah. Okay, then that happened in the thing, and he was playing some English songs, and you know how the Indian team is, right? You need to pump some Punjabi into the music for all of them to be ready to dance, right? And then again he called me and he was like, "You're a woman. I don't need to teach you. Go and tell the DJ what you want, and he'll play what you want." And then I went and I told, I said, "This is what it is," and things like that, and it was up and running, like so I think that was something which was needed in the culture for us to change the whole setup. And I think it has become a lot more easier and nicer, smooth. Now when you speak to players and things like that, they do a lot of things on their own without any restriction, so you can see that reflecting on the field, where they're expressing themselves on the field a lot better than what it was earlier.
Also, you think that also projects onto the field and in their game?
It does. It gives you confidence, right? If you're keeping someone snubbed and then you want them to go onto the field and express themselves, they don't know how to express.
Correct.
So once you start expressing yourself off the field, that the confidence you carry in when you go. So now you'll see the Indian players being more intimidated by the other England and Australian players being intimidated by the Indian players. They're not like quietly going and doing stuff. They're all like, yeah, what? Now what? So
giving it back when it's required.
Yeah. So I think it's quite fun, and it's happened a little later, but it's been good.
Another great story.
Maybe if it was...
You're full of great stories.
Maybe if it was... Imagine if it was in 2010, 2011 like this. Already you call me flamboyant. What?
You are in a good way. That's a fantastic thing. I love that. How have you been with your injuries through your career? I know you said you've been very lucky.
Yeah.
But have there been times when you've struggled with something or where you've needed help?
I think a couple of times, once with the wrist, because you were the one who was looking after when I had that wrist after that 17 World Cup. Of course, it was extensively used. Because the load that we had before going to the World Cup was, I think, 10 times more than what we were normally used to. And it was literally like a military camp that Tushar had arranged for us. You're batting literally, I think, more than 1,000 balls every day. Wow. So it was overused. Overused a little bit. So,
but that settled.
That settled, that settled. Apart from that, I think I've had a fracture here and there with ball hitting me and things like that.
So that solid sports foundation that you've had has really seen you through very well, right?
Yeah, like I've had one surgery, which again was where I dived and Shikha Pandey ran over me. So my bone was broken because of that.
Right.
And one was, of course, with this wrist one. I still remember we finished rehab to the wrist one and you said you're good to bat. I went on to bat. Biju came and bowled a bouncer first ball in indoors. In the side arm, and it hit my thumb and I had an airline crack. That is it.
Fantastic. I mean, that's really something, right? Because and what's your fitness routine been like? I know I've seen you run very well.
Yeah.
You're on the ground. And I've said this before. From an athlete standpoint, you really generate a lot of power on ground. How's your training been? What kind of training do you think works for you?
I think kind of figured that more of a strength athlete. So there's a lot of power. There's a lot of strength sessions that we were doing, and running usually was only like those short burst where you're doing 15 seconds on, 15 seconds off, those kind of things, 60 meters, 50 meters, and 20 meters. These were most of the things that I was doing. With the strength, it was like you're doing a lot of bar stuff, right? The proper Olympic training kind of a things, which has helped a lot for me to be, because the position that I used to bat also was something very explosive. So there's a lot of jumps, a lot of jumps. You're lifting and trying to be ready to what you need to do. So those were mainly something that I was doing for a very long period. I think that has kind of helped me to be injury free and to be available and to be ready. So these three things were happening, and I've had multiple SNCs working through.
Yeah.
But the thing is that with NCA also being in place, it was handed down nicely. Like everybody knew what the athletes are doing, right? It's not like you're introducing
The handovers are good,
yeah,
and
yeah.
what's worked for you
Yeah,
has
yeah.
been passed on
Yeah,
from
yeah, yeah.
one hand to
So I
another.
remember, like, for good 5-6 years, the programming, the exercises were different, but the way the programs were very similar to the previous ones.
And but have you had to push through pain ever in your playing days? Have you or I mean, you're still
Yeah, I
playing,
think
but
just with the wrist during
just
the
with the
World
wrist.
Cup. Yeah, I think that is when you were like strapped.
Yeah.
And with Tracy also, because she was also
Yes.
with us for a really
Yes.
long time, so she,
Yes.
she knew for the fact that this is important.
Yeah.
We can't let them miss games.
Correct.
We have to make sure that we get them ready. And the ideology with Tracy was that. So she
Yes.
used to give you false hopes. Like absolutely false hopes with a very convincing way. Like you go to Tracy and like, Trace, this is really bad, it's hurting, I can't move. You'll be fine. Tomorrow, right? I'll make sure you'll be ready for the game. No problem, don't worry. And I was like, really? Is it like just that minor? Yeah, absolutely nothing, no problem. And then I still remember, I think Harman had the same wrist thing as mine.
It's in shoulder, I think she
Shoulder she had, and
Yeah.
she had dislocated a finger.
Yeah.
And that they have to put it back in the middle of the game.
Yeah.
When we were playing this, right? Just the second game.
Yeah.
She put it back, and she didn't need to bat that game because Smriti got 100 and we finished it off. And for the third game, I was like, she'll be ready because I was not playing. I mean, in my head, it's like if Harman's not ready for next game, I might have to play because I'm the only batter who's sitting
Yeah.
out. So let me at least like get out of that holiday mood that I'm in
Yeah.
right now. And if I have to be prepared, and you're playing Pakistan on top of that, there is going to be 100,000 pressure that is
Correct.
going to come onto you, right? I was like, really? She's fine. Yeah, don't worry, she's fine. And she's sitting there, Harman. I'm like, no, she's fine. And then she went inside to change or something. I was like, it's very bad actually. I don't know how she'll be ready for the next game. She's like, we've put it back and we're staying. And with that falsehood itself, she pushed everyone because Mithali's both knee were swollen.
Yeah,
Jhulan's
Mithali was struggling
rhomboid
with it.
was torn. My wrist was gone. Harman had multiple niggles. Smriti was just coming out of ACL, like
Yes.
early
Yes.
return to play.
Yes.
I don't know how she managed. Now it sounds funny, like how she handled, but I think she also probably won't get enough appreciation going into her career, like the contribution that she had in that World Cup, especially. I don't think so. She slept that 2 months we were in England because like everybody has a niggle, so and
Yeah,
every
yeah,
player
yeah,
needs
yeah.
at least an hour,
No,
and it's
as
just
a-
her. You
Correct.
don't have another physio to take
Correct.
care. And
Correct.
she's like one by one, and she's like, she used to be awake till 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the night.
Good. Well done, Tracy. You being mentioned and appreciated here.
Yeah, she's good.
It's good that the contributions of support staff, because they do work extremely hard.
Yeah.
I've been there and I know how it is, and I'm there even now. It's sometimes it can be quite overwhelming,
Yeah.
and you are the kind of the only person who has to deal with it,
Correct,
and you
yeah.
can't pass it on.
You can't tell.
Yeah. Who do you take
Yeah.
that to? So
You
but-
can't
but-
tell someone else, okay, I'm just releasing this. Why don't you needle that?
Yeah. Correct. So Veda, a little bit of a fun segment after all the
Okay, I'm
Stories
ready.
and the
Let's
philosophy.
go.
It's called the X-ray round. No
Okay.
machines, no radiations, just pointed questions.
Okay.
You ready? Okay. What's the weirdest fitness advice that you've ever received?
Keep running for like an hour. You'll become better.
Yes.
Round.
Keep running for an hour. Keep
Yeah.
doing laps for an hour.
Yeah.
And why do you think it's weird?
Because if you're running for an hour, you'll probably get vertigo and your head
just
will
lose an
spin
hour.
and then you'll fall off. I don't think so that is going to help you in any ways.
Okay. If you weren't a cricketer, what would you be?
I'm an IPS officer.
Ooh. Do you think you could still join the police, right? Have you been offered?
If I was in Punjab or Haryana, probably I would have been.
Yes, you would have been for sure. What's your guilty food pleasure? Food pleasure?
So hands down winner is chicken biryani.
Ooh.
I love my chicken biryani.
Yeah. Any particular one from like Hyderabadi one?
No, I like the donne biryani.
Donne biryani. Okay. Nice, nice. A moment from dressing room that still makes you laugh?
Oh, there's been many, but everything includes Jhulan and Harman in it.
Acha. Are you able to narrate one of them without offending them?
In narration, it's like it's very vague. Like you can't really narrate as such, but it is Harman and me teaming up and
teasing Jhulan.
Yeah.
Okay.
If that has gone past to the ground also once.
Oh, really?
It's actually a very funny story. I don't think so anybody has spoken about it outside.
Okay.
So 2016, I think we were playing a series in Ranchi.
Okay.
We were playing Sri Lanka.
Okay.
So before that, in 2014, I wasn't part of that squad, but Jhulan was there. There is one girl opening bat from Sri Lanka, not the Atapatu, the other one. I don't think she's playing anymore, and she had hammered Jhulan left, right, and center.
Okay.
And Jhulan being Jhulan, she's not used to of that, right? And hammered like, and she's like gone for runs, and she's economy is more than 6 and those kind of stuff, which has rarely happened with Jhulan and throughout her career. So what happened? I am at covers, Harman's at cover point. We were playing, and the same batter was on strike. Still not started the match. So Jhulan is like, and all that, like first ball, she was like fully focused. And Harman was like, देख दीदी की फटरी है बॉल डालने के लिए and all of that. I said, and say क्या? मैं बोला था ना उसने बहुत मारा था उसको last series में. देख and like both of us are giggling and laughing. Like we've not seen Jhulan like that, right? And she's like, क्या कर रहे हैं तुम लोग and all that stuff. And it was like me and Harman looked at each other, like again we're giggling and we're looking. And then she's like, she did that and she looked at us. तुम लोगों को पता है ना मेरे को ज्यादा फोकस करने पड़ेगा इसके अगेंस्ट थोड़ा चुप रहो. And then we were like, okay fine. And then she bowled very well and she got her wicket in the first over, so she didn't get hit and all of that. But she's like, तुम लोगों को समझ नहीं आते सालों क्या करते हो बैठ के मजाक है क्या ये सब. And I was like, दीदी nothing, like why are you getting so hyped up? तो पता है कैसा है ये बहुत मारी थी उसने मेरे को last time and all. So like, and then so there is always Jhulan in something or the other that she would have done or something would have happened with her, and we are like talking side talks about it and laughing. So she's fun, good sport also in that way actually.
Yes. You can do that with her.
Yeah, you can. You can't do that with a Mithali, but you can do it with a Jhulan. So yeah.
That was a good
one. We still talk about it and laugh.
Yeah.
Before WPL, we were doing the show with all the captains.
Right.
And there was some random thing that Jemmy and Harleen were doing, and me and Harman we were on the floor lying down, and it was like, "Tere ko yaad hai humne wo kiya tha," and all of that. I said, "Yeah, that's." And we were telling someone else that, like one of the younger cricketers, like aise hua tha and all of that. We were like laughing about it. Good fun.
Yes, those are the memories, right? That's what you miss about being in the dressing room.
Yeah.
In a lot of cricketers, what they say is that you don't miss the ground as much as you miss the dressing room and the banter.
There's one more, I don't know, but it's okay if you want to edit it, you can edit it later. But Harman and I, like we've been, partners in crime for so long. In 2012, we went to West Indies, okay, and we were coming back from West Indies, and we were sitting together in the flight coming back, extremely exhausted. Like, a month in West Indies, you've played 5 one-days, 5 T20s, you're dead, and you're not able to sleep. And that time it was economy that you were flying, so all the more it is cramped up. You can't lie down or nothing like that. Both of them, like, we were going through some magazine in the flight, and there was this SIM card on the magazine, which was like, you want to take it, you can take it. It said 100 minutes to India, and in 2012, 100 minutes to India is luxury, right? And we knew that we had a layover for good 9 hours in Heathrow. So we knew that we had so much time, and we were like very confident that we will use 100 minutes till the last second talk to everyone, because in West Indies we've not spoken.
Yes.
There was no network in West Indies, and the calls were super expensive. Like, you're just calling saying, oh, okay, I'm there, and you keep the phone. You can't really talk. No, even Wi-Fi, if it is there was no WhatsApp. You're probably doing this BlackBerry Messenger thing
Yes.
that was there. Not much of communication, right? So we picked up, both of us picked up one SIM card, and we were like, we reached Heathrow, we were left. Gate 50, we were supposed to board again. And first time in Heathrow for us as a layover. Before that, we had gone to England and
Yes.
come back, not to West Indies. So we don't know this transit and layover. So the conversation, random conversation. तो एक बात बता, अगर तेरे को इधर वेस्ट इंडीज में छोड़ दिया, तू घर आ जाएगी क्या वापस अकेले? And I was like, हाँ मैं तो आ जाऊंगी, तो अपना देख ले, मैं तो इंग्लिश बोल के आ जाऊंगी, तू क्या करेगी? She's like, हाँ ना, वो मैं मैनेज कर लूंगी, कोई बात नहीं, पैसे है मेरे पास, मैं आ जाऊंगी. So these random conversation. We reach there, she's on a call, I'm on a call, everybody is left. From here far you can see 49. Like 49 के बाद 50. So that is in our head.
Yeah.
And time zones have changed. Suddenly her alarm started ringing. Oh, हमें gate के पास जाना है, late हो गए and all of that. We got till 49. There's no 50 after that.
Oh,
I was like,
that's your boarding gate 50.
that's the boarding gate. We are late. There's already final call going on. And then we come back all the way. That's about a kilometer, I think, going and coming back. So you're just running and things like that. And then पूछ उससे पूछ, वो airport staff लग रही है, उससे पूछ. I said, where's gate 50? Oh, you need to take the elevator. There's a tube. Then you have to get onto that and you have to
Yes.
go. We were like, what? And he's like, है पैसे टिकट लेने के है? I was like, हाँ मेरे पास है, तेरे पास है? I was like, हाँ है. ठीक है, let's go. And there's no phones.
Yes.
Like, you can't contact
Yeah,
and
yeah.
communicate also, right? We run to this thing, and Anju Jain and Munish Bali, they were standing outside. Cholo, they're doing. And we were like, कहाँ रह गए थे ये वो, ऐसे हम घूम गए थे, हमें नहीं पता था, like we have to do all of this. And then we go inside, and Anju was the captain that time. Anju was standing and she's captain. I was like, well done. And we quietly went and we covered, like full with shame, and we were going and sitting inside like that. The flight was delayed by half an hour because of us.
Oh, wow.
And good job, Anju Jain and Munish Bali, to hold the flight
Yes.
for
yes,
half an hour.
Otherwise, you would have had to find your way back.
Yeah. We were figuring out already.
Who in the team has the most bizarre warm-up routine?
I think everybody has bizarre. Everything is bizarre for me.
Okay.
Go run 1 round, 2 round, then you come and do.
Someone has a routine and everybody thinks, what is this routine that this person has to do every time?
Mm-hmm. Same only. I think
nothing's
everybody
done.
is same.
Okay. What is the one myth about women athletes that you would like to break? That people think that women athletes are
I think people think women athletes are not strong.
Okay.
They think it's not entertaining. Of course, you might not see 100-meter 6, but you'll still see a lot of power and strength going
Yes.
in. There's a lot more technique to women's cricket than men's cricket, is what I feel.
Yeah. No, that's an interesting one. Do you think mental health is spoken about enough in sport and in general in India, in our society?
I think recently you see a lot of people talking about mental health in cricket, especially in Indian cricket. Other cricketers, of course, other countries, they are more spoken about it. But I think in India now people have come to an understanding that mental health is very, very important as you being physically fit.
Right.
Or rather, more important than that. You can be physically fit and your mental health is taking a toll. You might not be able to perform, and that is something which people are being vocal now to understand that people can have anxiety, people can go into depression if things are not working in a certain way, and it is absolutely fine. You don't need to go to Nimans. You're not crazy.
Yes.
It's just a normal part of life, right?
Yes.
Because earlier it was like if you said that you're having anxiety or you might go into depression or things like that, people felt that you're not serious about life. Right, that perception has changed in the past few years.
And for society at large?
For society also, I think because of COVID and people going through a lot of tragedy personally, that is where people have been more vocal in society about having anxiety and depression and things like that. I think earlier, if at home, if you would mention to parents that you're not feeling good, they wouldn't understand exactly what it is, like what is anxiety. But now if you say like, oh, I'm anxious, I'm taking probably pills for anxiety, or we're taking pills to sleep, I think they kind of get it from where it is coming. So I think society also is improved in that way. They've developed this new skills of understanding, which was not there before.
Yeah, it's a more accepted kind of
Yeah.
situation, a documented illness now that
Yeah, the
that is
understanding and acceptance was not there.
yeah.
It was
It's
nil.
now recognized as
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
that you need help for in a structured manner,
Yeah.
in a medical manner.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got 3 envelopes here.
Okay.
If you can please pick one of them and then tell us something about the picture that's inside it.
Okay, I'll pick the center one.
Okay.
Jhulan. Oh, funny.
You've already told us a story about Jhulan.
Yeah, I think probably.
Where is this picture from?
This, I think, was 2017. We were either going to South Africa. No, I think we were going to Malaysia for Asia Cup 2018. So I remember this pink border that we had in the shirt.
In the jersey.
Yeah. I think this is 2018. Juludi.
Good memories?
Very good memories, yeah. She's been fun. She's been a fun senior to be around.
Yeah. She's a lovely person as well, right?
Yeah. You can normally like
talk.
talk.
Talk to her about
the
it.
other day, she was in Bombay. Like she's also doing commentary, and
Yeah.
I had my break during that period. So one of the Kannada host is married to a Bengali, so he lives in Kolkata. So he's like, "Oh, I've got someone for you," and then he pointed at Jhulan. I was like, something I was randomly, "तू speaker में तेरे को समझ नहीं आता क्या बात करने मैं बाद में बात करती हूँ तो रख दे phone." I was like, "Okay, cool, no problem."
Right.
So yes, it's funny.
Okay. Are you ready for a rapid fire?
Oh, always.
Oh. Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Night owl or early bird?
Night owl.
Pre-match ritual?
Sleep till I have to wake up and get ready.
Okay. One teammate that you trust to be stranded on an island with?
With all the cricketers I've played, I think I'll choose Harman. Because we are entertaining enough to keep each other alive.
Okay.
And Harman is a good storyteller. You give
Yes.
her a word and she just can elaborate to however extent she wants.
Cook it up on her own.
Yeah. Very good storyteller.
No, masala.
Everything she'll put.
Okay.
Everything.
Okay. A recovery mantra that you live by. You have to recover from.
I've always preferred this hot and cold shower.
Yeah.
I think that is
Not
something.
bath or shower?
Shower.
Okay.
I think that has helped me a lot in
Okay.
cricket. I think it just puts me in a phase where I'm ready to sleep, kind of a thing.
So what do? You get into a cold shower and then a hot shower?
Yeah.
How long for each?
I think good 10 minutes. I'm in doing
Altogether.
It's not timing as such.
Yeah.
You're
just
obviously there as long as you feel hot, and then
And
you're
then you
there
feel-
cold.
And then you alternate a few times. and
Yeah,
get done.
alternate a few times, and that has worked out. That's done wonders for me.
Fantastic. It was so nice to be chatting with you. Thank you so much for sparing your time.
No
And
problem.
I think this conversation and everything that you've said will inspire a lot of people, the parents, the coaches, the athletes themselves. And I think, I'm really looking forward to put all this out there.
Hopefully, so, and like I said at the beginning, I couldn't say a no. Though I haven't slept for 2 days, still I had to come here. And it's always fun to chat with you. And we've had many conversations, and it's such a free-flowing conversation, isn't it? I really don't have to think twice before saying anything, and it just makes it a lot more easier. And though we are shooting for it, it just felt like we were sitting and having a conversation. So thanks for always making me comfortable and always having good and fun chat along.
Fantastic. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching and for listening to the entire conversation. If you've enjoyed it, please like it, subscribe, and share. In the comment section, let us know what you liked a lot, what you didn't like so much, which guests you would like to see on our show. Some of the stories that couldn't become a part of this podcast are there on my Instagram handle. Do check them out. Thank you. Have a great day.